The two supreme theras. The city of Rajira in India is surrounded by 5 hills. In the time of Buddha, it was a sprawling and bustling city of the Magadha Empire, where King Bimbisara had his palace. At that time, more than 2,500 years ago, the hills around the city were covered with lush woodlands, which made them ideal for various renunciants to make their home in the hills. As a result, there were various religious sects in the area, of which 6 were the strongest with several disciples and followers. At that time, more than 2,500 years ago, the hills around the city were covered by lush woodlands, which made them ideal for various renunciants to make their home in the hills. As a result, there were various religious sects in the area, of which 6 were the strongest with several disciples and followers. 2 best friends. 2 young men of Rajira, Apatisa and Kolita, were best of friends. Both came from high caste families, highly intelligent, well-educated, and very wealthy. Life was easy for them. One day, during the Festival of Lights, they went together to watch the music and dance performances. While they were watching, an unsettling thought crossed Apatisa's mind. He pondered, in another 100 years, the performers, the audience and the revelers that are here now, will be no more. He turned to look at Kolita. He also did not seem to be enjoying. He looked somber. It turned out that he had been thinking the same thought. It was then and there that they decided that they would renounce the life of luxury and wealth and take the spiritual path to seek for the salvation from the endless cycles of birth, old age, disease and death and the suffering that accompanied them. It was a time before Buddha attained the Sabanuta Nyana, highest wisdom. So Apatisa and Kolita, together with 250 friends, joined the monastic order led by the sage Sanjayan. He was a famous sage, who claimed to be the Buddha. After a few days, the 2 friends realized that the sage's doctrine and practices were not what they were looking for. So, they made a vow that whoever found the right teacher should inform the other, and together they would join that teacher's sect. The time came when Buddha attained the Sabanuta Nyana and preached Dhammacakka, setting in motion the wheel of Dhamma, to 5 ascetics who were his colleagues when he was still striving for the highest wisdom. The Sangha community that Gautama Buddha founded was getting stronger day by day. One day, in a street of Rajira, Apatisa saw a young monk on his alms round. He looked calm and serene with the kind of dignity that only an awakened one can exude. It was the Venerable Asazi, the youngest of the Pinkavagas, the 5 ascetics, who accompanied Siddhartha Gautama at the time he was striving for enlightenment. And when Gautama became a Buddha, he was one of the first of the sentient beings to become an arhat. Apatisa discreetly followed Venerable Asazi, and when he had finished his meal, politely asked, "Sir, may I know who your Dhamma teacher is and what is the Dhamma that he taught?" Venerable Asazi replied, "He is Gautama, who attained Buddhahood not long ago. I have yet to learn the full scope of Dhamma, but I can sum it up in a few words." And then he recited what was later to become the most famous of Buddhist verses, because of its impact and significance. Everything that happened in this world has a root cause. My teacher explained what that cause is. He also guides the way to the cessation of that cause. That is the doctrine of my teacher, the enlightened one. After hearing the verse, the Dhamma wisdom and virtues accumulated over multiple lifetimes came into fruition, and Apatisa attained the Sotapadimagga, the stream winner, the first stage of total enlightenment. The Venerable Asazi expounded further. The khandhas, the aggregates of 1 Rupakhandha, matter, 2 Vedanakhandha, sensation, 3 Sananakhandha, perception, for mental formations 5 consciousness, themselves are dukkha. My teacher explained that dukkha arises because of craving, tanha, and also showed us the aid to the cessation tanha, that ultimately leads to nirvana. Full of hope and satisfaction, Apatisa went back to their monastery to relate his experience to Kolita and explicate the Dhamma verse in details. Kolita, also highly evolved in wisdom and virtues, attained Sotapadimagga at the end. The explanation. Kolita, ever the one to take quick action, prepared to go to Gautama Buddha right away, but Apatisa, the more thoughtful of the 2, said, "No, wait. Let's convince teacher Sanjayan too. He has enough wisdom to understand the Dhamma." But Sanjayan said, "I've been a teacher for too long. I don't want to be a pupil again." So, the 2 friends, their 250 companions, set off to Buddha's monastery. When they approached Buddha's monastery, Buddha was delivering a discourse to his bhikkhus, monks. He told his monks, "Turn around, and look, my dear monks. Here they come, the 2 who will become my right-hand thera and left-hand thera." End of part 1.